In a world ravaged by movie studios that keep rehashing the same things, only one podcaster has the guts to make it even worse. Join Mike the Hobbit as he traverses the internet to bring you some of the best and worst ideas for reboots, remakes, and reimaginings of some of your favorite and least favorite TV and film properties. Ideas like a John Waters He-Man movie, Fantastic Four the musical, and Aliens, done entirely with marionettes. What podcast would bring this evil upon the world? This is Smack My Pitch Up. Available anywhere you get your podcasts.
The views and opinions expressed on Geekfather are those of the panelists and not those of the Geeks Under the Influence Network, their affiliates, or sponsors. Listener discretion is advised. This is for the parents and not for the kiddies.
Geekfire!
Can you try one more time? Say no. Geekfather real loud.
Geekfire way loud! I just did it.
Guys, welcome back. It's a brand new episode of The Geekfather. That's right, guys. I'm Scotty Big Daddy Preston, bringing all the trials and tribulations to being a geeky parent in this wild and crazy pandemic world that we live in. And my co-host, who's back, finally, unfortunately, he missed the inaugural episode of the year. But we got
the
him
inaugural.
Back. That was our joke for it. Is yeah. But you hear him talking here, folks. We have Kyle Smash back on per usual.
Hello.
Howdy,
it's been
sir.
a long time.
I know, right? We were just talking before we were recording, man, how like it's just been crazy since Christmas even. Normally after the holiday we get a break, but
yeah,
right now, no, not so much.
No, there's no. I haven't had a break since even during the holidays. I feel like the holidays were, crazy this year, even though you didn't do much. It's very strange. It's been very strange.
Yeah, and that's what. If you listen to the last episode with Hunter, who was fortunately able to fill in for you at the time, where that's a lot of what we talked about, where, we try to divert so many episodes and everything to being fun about doing what we can for the kids, but we can only talk about what we're able to do for the kids. We don't have the options like we used to.
Right.
So, and that kind of goes into what I figure we'll be talking about tonight, since this evening when we're recording, we were joking beforehand when we were getting set up, was we had our big snow day.
Yeah.
That whole barely quarter of an inch snow on the cars, as you said. And
well, it did look pretty in the morning. Like when it was still frozen out around 6 a.m., it looked good. It looked picturesque.
Very true. Very true. And I don't know how many kids maybe walked out of their house and thought they were going to get a snow day, but then remembered that they don't actually have to leave their house.
Yeah, the idea of the snow day right now is a moot sort of. It's irrelevant because you're already home, so it doesn't matter. Exactly.
Now, par for the course, though, for anybody who is really going to argue about snow days or not getting snow days, and this goes for students and parents. From my understanding, I know at one time it was automatically built into where technically if snow days were not used, they were still given extra days at the end of the year that they gave the students off. It was just timed with like exams or certain times of the year where they really didn't need that day to be there, turning into a teacher assessment.
Right.
And then, other than that, I mean, there are going to be days where your internet is down and they may call an IT day or an extra day to do whatever. So, I mean, you're too worried about the timing or why it's happening at the time. Yeah. That's all it is.
Yeah. Well.
So, but that's just one Geekfather opinion right there. That's all I'll say,
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of opinions to be had out there these days. I guess no more nor less than before, just a little more
vocal about it.
Yeah, out there.
People, the social media. Well, social media has opened up all sorts of things, and we're It's just been in more recent years where we're truly seeing the downfall to some of it, or what's causing a downfall. But again,
well, we see it's the tipping point.
Sure.
It's boiling over.
Yeah.
Everywhere. And, all you can do is try to stay sane, right? I mean,
exactly.
Especially as a parent these days, because,
mm-hmm.
Kids are going through a rough time and you try to do the best you can to make it good for them. But
Absolutely.
it's, it does weigh on the parents too.
Yeah. I mean, we're still fresh in 2021 right now. And that's why I thought, even though technically there wasn't a quote unquote snow day, just to see the extra smile on Logan's face this morning with snow, to go out and just even make a snowball and throw it just out in the yard or at one of the dogs. It's just like, that's a nice little extra that made me feel better this morning, even having a rough night of sleep. So
yeah, kiddo got up this morning and she looked out the first thing we opened the blind. She looks out the window and she had a huge smile on her face. I mean, how could you not? It's snow.
Right.
And then we went out to the store and she goes, "I'm sorry, but I just have to touch it. I have to touch the snow." I don't blame you one bit, kiddo.
Yeah, and that's what Logan had to do, because by the time he it really fully clicked in, he was having to get ready for his class and all that stuff. But they get like that first 5-minute break within the first hour or whatever. So we're like, on your break, throw your shoes on real quick, throw your jacket on, and go mess around for a few minutes instead of worrying about something else for your break. We got your bottle of water, we got your snack or whatever ready for you. Just eat it real quick before your teacher starts again.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Exactly.
Do your kids have picture day tomorrow?
Picture day? No. Honestly, I don't know what they're doing about pictures. I really haven't heard anything. And that's funny because you're in Henrico County as well.
Yeah.
But different schools, obviously.
Yeah, it could just be school to school and they time it and do it differently. I know that they're doing like 5-minute increments, which means you come in, you're masked, you're not around anybody. You go, you sit, take the mask off, they shoot, you get up and leave. I mean, it's pretty much like don't be around anybody.
I know at one time there was talks of even sitting in a photo where it didn't even have to be necessarily a professional one, just one about the size, obviously have as best as you can about shoulders up above the top of the head, that type of thing. And they were talking about just send us a picture and we'll make it work for the yearbook just to avoid the extra contact or whatever it may be. But it sounds like they've got it planned out pretty well for the little one school over there.
Yeah, they have it pretty lined up. I mean, the kids, essentially, I mean, there's not going to be any kids around there. You have this little time slot. You pull up your car, get out, do it, get out.
Yep.
Leave, that sort of thing. At least I hope it is. Because if it's a bunch of kids gathered around and, and I'm sitting and we walk up and I'm like, no, that's not picture day for you. You can do a makeup in March.
Right, exactly. Well, and that's probably what they're going to be planning on for probably is that they're just waiting until a bunch of stuff, because
vaccines or especially the doses for the teachers and administration and
the vaccines, and I think the county has gone ahead and pushed back going in person for the students as well altogether, haven't they?
For Henrico?
Yeah,
I think so. There's still some like special education, special kids that need
but
that
that's
sort of
been
thing.
there.
But that's been there. But short of that, and I'm against it as well.
I mean, because we were given the, we talked about it before, where we were given the option. We were like, no, keep it virtual for us. Well, we can make it work that way.
Yeah, it's just a lot to put on a kid to try to change from one system to another, and they were they're now, I can't speak for every child or every parent, but here in my home, my kid's doing pretty awesome. She's doing great, and I'm lucky that that's the case, and that I'm here to be with her all the time to try to help her, and her mom helps her, and so on and so forth. So, she's still flourishing. She desperately wants to go back to school, and I don't blame her. All these kids do.
At this point, it's because we're social creatures, man. I mean, Logan has flourished when it comes to the education part. There are some frustrations, but what we've noticed is that is an overflow from he just can't go hang out with a friend for a couple hours just to let off some steam, run around, do whatever.
Get away from his parents.
Yeah. I mean, because, right now, my parents, his grandparents aren't even coming over as much. Just because of the way the work schedules have been and everything. he's been stuck with mom and dad. And what child wants to be stuck with mom and dad for 24/7 for weeks?
Yeah,
none.
And and it's nothing slowing down. It seems to be ramping up, and not the best way. And you hope you get those vaccines out there. There's a new variant. There's actually like 3 new variants, I believe. What, 2 or 3?
Depends on the parts of the world. Yeah.
Yeah. So and some are easier to contract than others, I guess, from the studies they've done. Which is a whole thing to go into that science, but
right.
It's. I keep wanting to just wake up and go, guess what? We only got this much time left, and we can.
I wish,
but honestly, I genuinely don't know. I'm hopeful that things will speed up and people will get these vaccines and they'll get both doses. People seem to think that, well, I got 1 dose, and I'm like, I'm sure that helps from an antibody level, but at the same time, like, you need both doses for it to really truly be effective. But it's one of those. It's. I don't even know anymore. Like I say every episode I get on here is, it's just trying to stay positive and not slip into some sort of madness.
Yeah, at this point, I give a slight knock on wood that hopefully we have some type of summer that can be at least somewhat better than last year. I guess is the only way to put it, really.
Yeah.
Just to be a little bit more active, have a little bit more to do, even if you're still having to be careful about stuff. Hopefully we can go out to, swim a little bit more somewhere, do something.
Yeah. I don't know about you. One of my favorite things to do with my kid, and I've probably said this a million times throughout all these podcasts, is that, me and her go to the movies, whether it's that movie she wants to see or one that she was kind enough to go see with me, even though she probably didn't have much interest. But that was our thing, our daddy-daughter thing, and she'd get up and dance in front of the movie screen at the end of every movie. So it's, when I look at those sort of things, I really miss that. That's the kind of normalcy that I need as a father, as a person. For me, it's not going out to a bar, although that would be nice. Right.
Yeah, a little bit of adult association as well would be awesome. But that really. Last year put a crimp in what we were doing, because Logan was we never picked up on that where he could just sit through a movie per se, at least in a theater. But a couple of the movies that have come out this last year, because everything just hit streaming right away and all that, he sat there and was like, ooh, I want to check this out, and just sat through the movie. And I bet you if he was in a theater, he would have dug it. And he just hasn't had a chance to have that real experience yet with a movie.
Yeah.
And it kills me because I'm just like, hopefully you're like us and you just want to go see every movie possible, even if you may not quite like it very much. Just the whole exposure to the theater, the experience.
That's why I'm getting, that's why I have HBO Max. And I actually, since the last time I was on, or that we recorded, I got a digital projector, and I got all these, gift cards for Christmas for Amazon.
Yeah.
So I went on there, and their bestseller, or one of their best sellers, it was like $100 or $200 machine, which is really nice for a digital projector. It's not the top of the line, obviously, because you don't have like an indoor movie theater. But as far as outdoor portable projectors go, that's pretty much kind of top of the line. So I got it, and I got it for like $99 with a $20 discount, which was fantastic, right?
Nice.
And as a parent, especially a single parent or not a single parent, if you're worth your salt and keeping some money in the home, a good deal. You take it.
Absolutely.
So I took it and I tried it out, and it's got all the ports for it. It's a nice machine.
Yeah.
I put it on a blank wall, and it was almost crystal clear. So so I went ahead and got a 14-foot, because it's up to 170 inches. I got a 14-foot inflatable screen.
That's sweet.
I'm getting that. So once that comes in, we can hook it up. We're getting ready for Godzilla versus Kong, which
nice.
Anybody listening can hear my daughter in the background. We're super excited for it.
Yeah, see, and the boys are going to be hyped for that one. Trying to talk about it ahead of time. Both of my boys are so visual when it comes to that stuff. It's going to be like, no, check out this movie. I don't want to, but as soon as you see one of the kaiju or whatever creature going on, they're going to just sit there and chill.
Well, you can. The trailer's out. the full trailer, and it looks amazing.
Oh, I've watched the trailer.
Have
Getting
you?
my kids to sit down just to say, "Hey, this is not the movie, but this is just showing you part of the movie." They're like, "I don't give a shit."
Yeah.
They could care less about a trailer, no matter how cool it is. They either want to see the actual end product, or they just want nothing to do with it. So it's
me and my kid are trailer junkies. Like, we'll put the trailer on, and we're both like, when in the trailer, Godzilla jumps up on the aircraft carrier.
Oh yes,
Kong gives him a fucking overhand right, and I mean, both of us were like, yeah,
yep.
And I. Yeah, she still likes God. We're both big Godzilla fans. Like, she took after her dad like that. I don't want Godzilla to lose, but Kong is such a badass, and I don't care if they made him an extra 100 feet taller.
So what? But and I mean, we're getting totally old man tangent off the rails about this. But
this is what Big Geekfather is all about right here.
Absolutely. No, well, see, I'm going to dive a little bit more into the movie thing though, because I was just going to say I love the whole. You know, you have all the Godzilla movies, the random King Kong movies and stuff, but the series of movies that they've done leading up to this are great. Period. Just the storyline.
Like the OG ones or the
current ones that we're watching.
Monsterverse.
This current Monsterverse that we have everything like with Monarch and all that.
The first one didn't bother me, and I like that they showed Monarch at the end, and I know that Lorelai did too, and she's old enough now to go, huh. Okay, but it was the second one, with King Ghidorah or Ghidorah, however you want to pronounce it, but
I don't know.
With King Ghidorah, that not only did so well, and King Ghidorah was so badass, but when Kong, not Kong, when Godzilla does his thing and basically goes red nuclear, I remember me and Lorelai went and saw it, and we were cheering. We were just cheering. And so every time I see it, it was on TV earlier today, I'm just like, those are the things that come back to as a geek dad. Those are the things that, I need, that I miss.
For sure. And as much as, well, I mean, we're talking a little bit of age difference too. We become Disney whores.
Man. Huh?
Well, I'm an older man, but my children are younger than your child. So,
I guess
however that works.
Again, it's all relative.
Exactly. But we become Disney whores. We have the Disney Plus, things like Soul and a few of the other movies on there have been fucking phenomenal.
I've been trying to get them.
Oh,
how was Soul?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's a great little movie.
Yeah, kids and the boys loved it.
Oh, they watch it. They've watched it probably like 20 times in the past few weeks.
I've tried to get Lila to watch it, that and even Jem, but no, I can't seem to get them all down at the same time to watch it. I'm about to start watching myself and see what happens.
Just watch it. I mean,
Do I need tissues?
Possibly. I mean, it's a little bit of a emotion in there, but it's also just a feel-good movie because it talks about part of the reason why I like it, besides the boys loving it so much. It's a good movie. But it does, part of the premise with it is where it's just like, you should not be here just for this one sole purpose. You have to enjoy life.
Right.
And it hits home, and it should hit home with anybody, regardless of children or not, or whatever age. Well, it makes some strong points, with just how it works. It's a great movie. I mean, I believe Disney is Pixar. I don't know why I always forget. Pixar has been knocking it out of the park yet again.
They've been knocking it out of the park for a long time.
They're up in their own game, man. They're like they set their own bar every time. It's just not even the effects; it's the story writing. That really dig.
Did they do WALL-E? Did Pixar do WALL-E?
This is what I always forget. I can never remember who did what. Except I just remember Toy Story is Pixar. I hear Lila.
Yeah, I hear my daughter's schooling us. So yeah, I think it's Pixar.
Okay.
But WALL-E is a hands down to me one of my favorite top 20 movies, hands down. But one of the best movies of that kind, there is. I mean, yeah, Finding Nemo is great, and Toy Story, of course. But when I can watch Toy Story, but I can watch WALL-E like 30 times in a row and just be in love with it every time. You just can't get away from that little short circuit looking robot with the big heart.
He's adorable, man. He's totally adorbs, if you will.
Yeah, he's totally adorbs.
Oh, totally adorbs.
Is that what the kids say these days?
I'm sure somebody still says it. I don't know. I don't remember anymore. Your child would have a better idea if they do or not. I don't know.
She wants to answer it. What do kids say these days instead of adorbs or adorable?
Who cares?
Well, that sounds about right.
What'd she say?
She said, "Who cares?"
I mean, that's a legit answer as well.
She's she got a little headache, so she's.
Is she grumpy?
She's a little bit grumpy.
Grumpy child.
That's being a parent.
Absolutely. Oh, hey, you're telling me I've got the youngest who has now rediscovered that he can climb the ladder up to the top bunk on the bunk bed and fell off this evening.
Oh.
Nothing. I think he just scared himself. I don't think he was at the very top and fell off. I think he just slipped and scared himself more than anything, because as soon as I heard him, parent mode kicked in, ran in there, checked on him. He was crying and stuff, but it, did the whole like moving legs, feeling around like for any broken, whatever it may be, blah, blah, blah. And he was fine. He just scared himself and then he fell asleep. And so I think he was just tired.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
that took a lot out of the little guy.
Yeah, but it was totally one of those things where I was doing something, Logan was doing something, and then it was like, wait a minute, where? And as soon as that thought clicked of where's your brother, I hear thunk thunk crying. Shit. It's like, damn it. So it is what it is, though.
Well,
but fun stuff either way.
Yeah.
Fun
you
stuff.
have multiple ones.
Yeah, we're trying to keep an eye on them is a little bit strange. But I guess that's one advantage to the pandemic is they can only get but so far. It just always depends. So.
Yeah. I've fallen. I mean, I did that as a kid plenty of times.
Oh, sure. I mean, he's fine. I'm just more concerned about, like, that's why I said my main concern was, did he break a bone by even a short fall like that, or is there some sort of odd goose egg like bump on his head or something like that from impact somewhere? But
yeah, hey, my daughter broke her collarbone in a similar way. Just it was just an accident that happened, and I didn't even know it at first. I didn't know. I mean, there was no sign, there was no symptom except for the fact that she just like was sore. Mm-hmm. But I mean, she had just fallen, and. So, it was one of those things, and I think it was the next day, and then we took her and found out it was like, that it had a fracture in it. But I was like, and as a father, I'm like,
right.
How could I miss
Where's
that?
my X-ray?
The EMT way
You
back
should
in the
know
day.
better than anybody.
Like,
Where's the X-ray vision, man? Come on.
Right. Yeah. Well, there's DCAP PTLS, which is essentially an assessment that you do in the body, any sort of trauma. You would check, for... breaks and things like that. And I didn't necessarily do that because I was like, well, there's no need, kids' bones are pretty, they're pliable.
Exactly.
They can bend. And so I didn't even think about it. But the next day when I was like, how the hell could I possibly miss that?
But it's like tomorrow when he wakes up, I'll probably do a double check on him. Like I've always done that though, where it's just like, okay, are you reacting this way because of shock or whatever? Or, because like I said, with, after I made sure he was calm and everything, he was just sitting with me on the couch. I go back to doing something, and then I turn to look, I'm like, where did he go? And he's laying behind me on the couch, and he fell asleep.
Yeah.
Toss him in bed, he's asleep for the night, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll see if he's walking weird tomorrow, or is acting funny about it, and double check him. I mean, that's all you can do. I mean, I go back to my yard is a death trap as well, which is part of the reason why we've had to limit the outside play right now. We've had the trees cut down, but they still got cleanup to do. So They can't really go out in the yard a whole lot.
And we're back. And I say that because for the people who are listening won't know, because it'll be edited so beautifully by Mr. Scotty P, Geekfather himself.
Sure.
But my kid is bad headache, and I was trying to find some aspirin, and she's just not feeling well. And any parent knows that those things come when they come. The most opportune times. But we do what we can to take care of them.
It is what it is. The magic of editing. The magic of editing. Nobody knows that there have been so many times where between children, animals.
Yeah. There's my
speaking of animals, I heard that there has been so much editing that, man. Shit happens.
I mean,
I'm not even going to fight it.
This is what it's like, especially to record a podcast these days.
Yeah.
I mean, when you can't really be person to person, and in some sort of secluded area where you get a little privacy, and let's be honest, you have a kid, you're not getting privacy. No matter what you have to have a door that locks behind you and is soundproof.
Yeah. Essentially, yes. Mm-hmm. And soundproofing a room and being a parent, just you could be in that situation, but you also know that your child is being monitored 100% without you being there. It's not like, oh, the wife is at work, so I'm going to lock myself in my recording booth that is completely soundproof and no one can get access to it once I'm in there. No, that's not good parenting.
That is awful
people.
Parenting. That's the opposite way to parent.
That is very awful parenting.
That's a good way to go to lose your kids.
Very
lose your parental rights to negligence or neglect. Yeah.
That, absolutely. So that's actually a perfect segue. Like, I've been chomping at the bit just for this. It's a little quick, geeky parenting story that I found. Because I'm always looking this stuff up. And you find some good articles. Sometimes you see little written bits on people and stuff, but let me tell you, this one alone I think is just hilarious, because there are times where, like, I've talked about with Logan and his video games, where it's just like, dude, no, I either use that as a leverage for him to get stuff done, or it can be a punishment where I'm just like, why should you get something to do that? Just if you're not listening, you're being a butt, whatever it may be. So I thought this one was appropriate without going too far, because I've seen where, like, the parents destroy video games and movies and stuff. I'm like,
I've
don't destroy the property. That's
videos
rude.
Of parents
that's just
like,
rude.
You failed all of your classes, and all you care about is this damn game or this damn system, and they take it outside and, like, run it over with their truck, hit it with a sledgehammer, cut it with a chainsaw. I understand what they're feeling, though.
No, see I get the feeling. It's the action. Mm-hmm. It's definitely the action. But I thought this one was a little poetic, if you will. Now, based on the name, I'm going to assume it's in a different country, and I'm not trying to be, like, racist about it, but it doesn't give me any reference to it either, or even what the game is. But there is a 23-year-old son, I'm assuming, based on the way it's said here. Apparently he doesn't want to get a job. And I can almost read this verbatim, where basically he'd rather spend his time playing video games, and to discourage this activity, his name is Feng, F-E-N-G, so that's why I say it's Asian, just based on spelling, so I'm sorry. His father apparently hired players within this game, so I'm assuming it's like World of Warcraft online stuff, to hunt down and slay all of his son's characters.
That's actually pretty genius. Probably expensive, but genius.
That's what I'm saying. It says here that it is unknown where or how Feng found the in-game assassins. Every one of the players he hired were stronger and higher leveled than his son, and the idea was that his son would get bored with playing games if he was killed every time he logged on, and that he would start putting more effort into finding or getting a job.
I'll give it to him. Tactic there's a hell of a lot better than just destroying it and having them be... And then you've allowed them to make that choice for themselves without even knowing you interfered. Or
that without destroying something, and he still has that option to still go back and play the game, but preferably when he's on his free time and after he's done paying some bills.
I wonder how the kid felt about after reading the article and went, "What? You
son of a bitch.
You coy son of a bitch."
Right? I mean, and I don't care who you are, especially for being a 23-year-old adult in this scenario, you actually sit there, you may be pissed, but you have a moment where you're just like, that smooth-ass motherfucker.
At that age...
He pulled some smooth shit.
That's it's pretty sly. Because, what's a parent going to do for their kid at 23 and force him? You're not going to force them to do anything. They're an adult.
The best you can do is force them out of your house.
Yeah.
Legally. But does that actually help the situation as well?
I mean, as long as they know that you love them and that you always got their back, but you're not going to enable them to just be lazy. You're not going to enable them to kind of move through life. But like you said earlier, life is about, I've always taught my kid that life is about living it. When people ask, like, what's the point of living or what's the meaning of life? Well, I think the meaning of life is to literally just live it, to feel pain and laugh, and happiness and sadness, and to feel it all and enjoy it.
So go watch Soul. Seriously, after that, go watch Soul, and you'll be like,
I'm going to tell her right now.
Duh. Really, I could have wrote this movie.
Says we have to watch Soul.
I mean,
will I think she's asleep.
It's good. It's real good. And it's a mellow movie, too. It's got some really nice funny parts and everything, but it's one of those cool chill ones that you can start right after dinner, like on a Friday night, and just finish watching, and by then you're just like, I feel good. Yeah. I can go to bed now. It's that type of movie, it's smooth.
That just makes me think, now I think of Geek Dads, and I mean, the ultimate portrayal of a Geek Dad, or one of my opinions, is Mrs. Doubtfire's. And he does the T-Rex, I'm a raptor.
Yeah.
I do it. Yeah.
Dude, that whole
movie is just...
Mrs. Doubtfire. Yeah. Props to Robin Williams. Well, because even in real life, I mean, you want to talk about a geek father. I mean, because this just shows what old man tangent shit we're going to just do this episode. We've gone from Snow Day to all sorts of shit in between to talking about Robin Williams. His daughter's name is Zelda.
Awesome name. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they love the video games apparently in that house. Like, and she's in that, which I feel like we should probably talk about in depth one episode. I can't even remember the name of the documentary off the top of my head. But Zelda Williams, Robin Williams' daughter, is actually in this part of this documentary a couple times. It's a documentary series on Prime. It's a few years old. But she's actually doing the part where she's talking to hospitals and this company that goes into hospitals and actually provides video games and gaming time for children during healing processes for various diseases and surgeries and all that. And they really talk about how the mental, physical effects are really great for the kids, even though they're sick, essentially.
Well,
it's really great. I think Hunter and I talked about it on an older episode, but I mean, it's something to keep bringing up. It's a great documentary.
It's the Patch Adams, which was a Robin Williams.
Essentially,
he was in that movie. He was Patch Adams, and the whole philosophy behind, I guess, this particular doctor they did the movie on was that you can treat the body all you want, but if you don't treat the soul, if you don't treat the mind, if they have a low quality of life, it's not going to do very much, So, and I get behind that 100%.
Right. And there's just to show that Robin Williams does great in a movie, but from a little side note, apparently the real Patch Adams was a total jackass.
I imagine so.
Well, yeah, like he may have had that philosophy at one point, but did absolutely nothing to really truly follow
probably
through with
lost
it,
his way.
But well, he was trying to do stuff like, I think initially it was like a good thought or a good way to do whatever, but he went about trying to get funding for it totally wrong. He basically shit on every connection he had in the medical community to basically be like, you guys are dicks. I'm the one that's going to be doing this crazy thing to make the world better. And he didn't get that far.
Yeah, which was basically a crazy mix, a mix of medicinal and psychiatric or psychological. You know, it was a hybrid.
Yeah.
It was a hybrid medical facility that way. Which was, I mean, he may have been a dick, but the story's pretty cool, and Rob Williams did an awesome job. But the concept,
right? Oh, and like I said, the movie is great. The movie does a way better portrayal of that whole scenario, and probably has a better understanding of what the real Patch Adams was trying to do in comparison to what he actually did in real life.
Since we're going on old man tangents about geek dads in general, I'm gonna tell you right now. Because I've been reading, and me and Lorelai have been patiently waiting for Ghostbusters Afterlife to come out, and talk about ultimate geek dads. Jason or Ivan Reitman, who directed the originals,
right?
His son Jason Reitman wrote and directed the new one, Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I was reading an article in which just recently Jason, his son, showed Ivan the finished film, and apparently his father's response was just like basically like, you've made me, like, I could not be more proud of you, and like teared up, and I guarantee you, if Jason Reitman was probably like, I want to do right by Ghostbusters, I want to do right by the fans and stuff, but he's like, fuck them all, I want to make my dad proud. And that's what it seemed like, and he did it, and I get that.
Right?
And that was just such a beautiful story especially about one of my favorite movies of all time with some of my favorite actors, and I'm just like drooling, just waiting for this damn movie to come out. I don't care how I have to watch. I got a projector now. If I have to go out into a fucking field with a hook it up to my car and watch it that way with the family, like in peace, whatever, right? I'll watch it anyway.
Yeah. Well, see, and that's actually one thing I was going to bring up too, is that because we just haven't done it yet because we knew we were doing stuff with the trees and everything to be cut down in the yard. But we've been looking at the same thing because we have our shed that's finished. So we've got a perfect place to put the sheet up, and we've got a screen, and we just need to get a nice projector. Like you said, not top of the line type stuff.
Yeah.
But a good one.
Projector versus a portable.
And
depends on what you want. Some people generally go with the in-home, which is fine because you don't have to install it into the roof or the ceiling or anything. You can still make it technically portable if you want to take it with you somewhere. It's just a pain in the ass. And the bulbs are super expensive. They're like $1,500. But, the general portable ones, when you get the high-end portable ones, it's worth it. Especially when you have kids and you go traveling, you can go up to the mountains, whatever, and you're alone in a cabin in the mountains outside. You can just project the movie out onto a screen and put some speakers behind you and just have a good time. It's your own little movie theater. I think, our family needed that. Yeah. I needed it.
Yeah. And actually, I was going to say, even if you guys got to stay inside, you guys got a perfect area in your home to do that. The little dining room area.
It's kind of like, it's like cut into sections, but it's a semicircle almost. But the way it'll fit.
Yeah.
It does.
It would
it's
work.
It's a little fuzzy only because the screen goes up to 170 inches. So when it adjusts, it can't be so close to the wall, obviously, because it already gives you like a, I think like a 60-inch picture off the bat. So
well, damn.
I'm waiting. Once that 14-foot projector screen comes in, the inflatable one.
See, that's what I'm thinking, is that we should buy the projector first and then see what type of screen we can get that
you don't want to buy a screen
based on, because that's a lot of adjustment. You don't want to buy a screen that's
too big. I mean, this is total Geekfather talk, because this is what a good Geekfather does. He tries to plan shit and bring things into the home that bring the family together more and have more of those memories and moments. And I never really appreciated the projector before because I always had the movie theater. And now, now I'm like, oh, it's absolutely priceless. You mean I'll pay $30 a month for HBO Max, but I can watch the shit I would watch in theaters at home safely? Okay, sure.
See, and that's part of the reason why we went ahead and did HBO Max as well. Like, because we have it actually through our Hulu account, so we only pay like $15 a month for it.
Just add-on.
Yeah. And then you get the bonus of where they decide to release all the new movies on it as they're releasing into theaters, quote unquote. What you got to say, these
quote,
days,
unquote.
but it's Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, it's what else? Because again, most of the GUI people are go to the theater to watch movies type scenario. We love going to the movies. I mean, you should be able to tell that with any of the episodes. But we're doing what we got to right now, and to be able to give the kids something a little extra, why not?
I mean, that's
why not?
Sorry to the audience out there who's listening to the dog bark. I knew it was going to happen eventually. It'll stop soon, but no, it's that's what it's all about. You know, especially being a geek dad. It's not. It's about connection. You want to be a good dad. You want to raise a decent person and all that. Like, that goes without saying. If you're a father, a parent worth their salt, that's your ultimate goal. But during that time, while you're trying to do that, is to build these memories. They're so important. They are so important. I didn't grow up. I didn't have anything like that growing up. So, you know, for me to be able to give that to her is everything. You know, I get a little I get butt hurt when she doesn't want to do it. And she's like, nah, it's not. And she's 9, she's getting older, so it's not cool or something like that. And I'm annoying her. And I get a little, I mean, even I walk away, I'm like, like, I get a little butthurt, and I'm like, she's 9, she doesn't even, her frontal lobe.
Yeah, you almost want to sit there and be like, fuck you, motherfucker, but that's your kid. You can't really, you really shouldn't be talking to him like that, but that's the way you feel at the moment.
Kids' emotional center is not fully developed until they're, much older, so they can't even process all those emotions. So now, like, you're stuck in the house with them all, you gotta keep that in mind, like, they're only 9, but that shit was hurtful.
My 6-year-old has the attitude of me and his mother combined. And the little, like, I mean, he's gone full, like, where I'll say something to him, be like, go clean this up, and he just gives me the whole, like, and walks off real quick. Dude, I'm just like,
ass whoop, not to ass whoop, ass whoop, not to ass whoop. Obviously, probably not ass whoop. Oh, boy.
But even like you said, the stuff that he's been given, it's like there's so many times where I'm just like, feel all the nerd that I'm bestowing upon you for
Dad, you're annoying.
Your life. And they're like, it kind of sucks.
Dad.
And then the one thing of like video games, like first person shooter type stuff for Logan, all right, great, you love it, but that's what he goes overboard with it. And you're like, dude, no, I don't even want to play this much. Like, you're obsessing. And not a good obsession. Calm it down, and it's crazy. On just like,
my daughter's kind of going the opposite way. Like, I got her a laptop for Christmas. Got a good price on it, and I made a good deal. Oh yeah. So she started to code, her own games. I don't think she's been.
Oh, you mentioned there was something about that she was going to be looking into.
Because the last time we did it, I haven't. She hadn't received it yet. I don't think. Since the last time. When was the last episode I was on? Was it before Christmas?
Well, I think I mentioned it last time, we technically recorded the Christmas episode. We weren't able to release it due to technical bullshit. That's right. I still have the file. We still have the file somewhere. We're going to see if we can maybe do a secret release episode for something fun later with that. But there was... I think we did an episode right before we did a December, at least one December episode, at least 2 in December.
But we just didn't. We did it before Christmas. So, anyways, so I haven't. So she got the laptop. It's awesome. It's touchscreen. She loves it. And then we pull up this program so she can start coding. And I mean, the first night she had that she sits down with it. 2 days after having the laptop, boom, she's developing her own game, and it's really easy and cool. And it's developed by MIT, this sort of learning program for kids. And they go young on them, too. So you can even, start the boys and see if they like it, if they're creating their own games.
I was about to say, I'll probably have to get some information from you just to, like, check it out. Because, I mean, I went to ECPI, even though I came out of there with a business degree. But I did some IT stuff, and the coding was part of it and stuff. So just if any of it clicks in my head and I see a program like that we can work together on, that would fucking bomb the shit, man. Hell yeah.
I mean, it's not something we had ever had instilled in us younger. It's not something that was pushed because it wasn't such a big booming area.
Not really.
I mean, now it's our present, and it's obviously going to be the future. And at least for critical thought and helping, even if it's just helping neural pathways shoot fast. The neural synapses shoot faster.
Absolutely. I mean.
and process information better. Like whatever helps develop them, to be the best that they can be. Like I try to grab any tool, and that coding thing, I'm telling you right now, try it. It's free. You just go into the site. It doesn't cost a thing.
I'll get the details.
Everybody should try it if they've got kids. And they think it's something that might be good for them, then they should definitely do it. It's more STEM project related as well. Coding is definitely part of STEM. So
okay.
I urge every geeky parent out there, or just any parent, to do it. Do it now.
Well, I mean, it goes along with the philosophy I've always given, whether it's music, movies, video games, whatever it may be, is coding is history for so much of the modern technology we have into how we use the technology. Still, you go back to the basics. That there's nothing wrong, even if you never use it again, to have a simplistic, basic knowledge of it can take you way further than you've been.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. Yep. Fly like a bird or an eagle.
Fly away. Anyway, but guys, geez, don't.
Well, I saw a preview for Space Jam 2, and I was just like, well, the graphics look cool. I mean, the graphics look a lot better, but I don't know if you can replace Jordan, with.
That might be, especially though the wife is a huge fan of Chicago Bulls and the original Space Jam. Yeah, that's gonna be very critical in this house on how that movie is watched.
As long as if they do a continuation, cool, I can get behind that. But a reboot, please stop. Don't do that.
I don't think it's gonna be a reboot because they are calling it Space Jam 2. Yeah. From my understanding, so hopefully, I agree. I hope it's some type of continuing story or something else happens.
Well, you can still do a reboot and call it
Looney Tunes joining our world.
Yeah. So you could probably still do a reboot and call it 2. You're like, oh yeah, it's Space Jam 2, but we're starting the story in another dimension with another character. So it's not really a continuation of a story.
I think Hollywood learned that lesson back in the 80s and stuff where they were trying to do sequels but just redo stories at the same time.
80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s.
Well, I was about to say, has Hollywood truly learned their lesson when it comes to that? But,
no, they have not. But, at least they're trying to put out better content. If they're going to do it, they're going to at least try to do it better.
Very true.
We'll see another shitty Fantastic Four movie.
Another shitty Wonder Woman. Sorry, this last Wonder Woman movie was also did not live up to the first one.
Did you hate it? Were you a hater on it? I'm not a hater on it. I don't love it, but I'm not a hater on it.
There were some good things about it, especially for being a DC movie, which we just know how DC is with live action movies in general. However, there were some cool things about it, but it was more of the writing. Like the story went so out of whack and out to left field, back in and then back out to left field and even further again. It wasn't very good, consistent plot. Plot line happening.
I have to watch it again just to kind of pick up because it was kind of choppy when I first saw it. Like HBO Max, I think, was just bogged down by so many users, so it was slow. Or
if it was that first day, yes.
So I haven't watched it since then, but I enjoyed a lot of parts of it. I agree there was some messiness, but there was some messiness at the end of the first one too. The action was superb. Everybody's acting was well. She's great. I mean, she's fantastic at what she does.
And like I said, that the actors have always been top notch for so much. Wonder Woman, some other DC properties. Right. Usually the acting is top notch for the most part. For the most part. The cameo at the end was, I love the cameo piece at the end, which I won't say that just in case anybody hasn't watched it. You should watch it at least once. That's my rule. Watch it at least once if you're going to properly shit on it.
Absolutely. At least one time. And give yourself a few minutes to think of it before you go, oh, it sucked.
Sure.
Why did it suck? Because it just sucked. Can you at least give a reason? Like, I just didn't like it. I just didn't like it.
Exactly.
No, that's not. No. Something had to have made you not like it. The whole movie. Fine. At least it's a fucking reason.
Right. So, and this is at the point in the episode where we tell you to give it a moment, think about it before you tell us how much we suck. Because we do need to wrap up the episode. Oh. I know. We're ending on talking shit about Wonder Woman 1984.
I will say, I'll end that portion off with this. Watching it with my kid, even though she didn't get to watch the entire thing, but the portion she watched along with watching the first Wonder Woman, you could tell like she got up feeling powerful, and that's
fair.
definitely something that I take to heart as important if you're going to show that out to the world in cinema or otherwise.
Totally fair on that. Like, and that's even something good that we may need to touch on more is about how we watch certain movies as fanboys and how do the kids actually view the movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
That would be a good little segment to touch base on. So put that in the mental note there, sir.
Well,
and at this point, we're going to wrap up. Hopefully the editing will come out smooth for this because we're, guys, as we've been preaching to the choir to everybody for the past almost full year now is washing the hands, wear those masks, man, and we're distancing as best as possible while still trying to record these episodes for you. So I promise I will do my best for editing, guys, because we're doing right now. Smash and I are over Zoom. We're not even in the same room, so that definitely gives it that little extra work
that extra
added
push
to it.
All right.
Yes. So I will do my best, guys. But if you are keeping up, basically almost all of GUI has been usually doing some type of distancing for most episodes. So, and of course, for those episodes, if you go to GUIpodcast.com, check out Flagship, check out From the Mouths of Madness, thanks to Hunter. Actually, even a couple nights ago, I was able to hop on a very fun, Beautiful Disasters episode with Groots and Hunter.
Yeah. Do you have fun?
Yeah, we did. We did Uncle Peckerhead.
I think I've heard of the movie. I think I've actually heard of it, but I have not seen it. Obviously,
I've posted about it, and I think Anthony has too.
Maybe that's where the name sticks out.
It's a fun movie. It's so much fun. We gave it rave props. It's even a recent movie, but it's still schlocky as hell.
I'll have to bring one of those guys. It's a preview that I saw called Psycho Gorman, and
oh, you don't think they don't know about Psycho Gorman yet?
It looks so awesome. I don't even know what to think because it says it's not rated. So I'm like, I have to watch it first, obviously. But it almost looks like a kid's movie, but not.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what to make.
Just because there are children in the movie does not make it a kid's movie.
True. And the title is Psycho Gorman, and the thing looks like, Atrocitus from Injustice video game or the comics. And if anybody's DC, they know what Atrocitus is, huh?
Gwar. It reminded me of Gwar a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So much darker, actually. Like just almost like lava coming, like set on, like almost like Godzilla looked in King of the Monsters at the end when he was like glowing red through. That's what it kind of looks like burnt, but like glowing, like almost like cracked lava rocks. But anyways,
that works.
That works. Cool.
But guys, you'll hear more of those movie talks through Beautiful Disasters, more of the horror stuff from the Mouths of Madness, and we're still trying to have fun, guys. We again, like Hunter and I talked about last time. I know we have to be a little bit more serious for Geekfather, but this is parenting of the times, man. We're doing the best we can. We hope that you're doing the best you can. And again, if you need help, feel free to reach out to really just about anybody still at GUI.
Yeah.
Even if you just need an ear to talk into for a few minutes, Vince, do what you got to do. Guys, we want to be there as much as possible. I know any of the gear through our friends over at TeePublic that you find through the website. I believe we're still giving 100% of anything sold that we would get kickbacks on is still going to the Holly Fund, if I remember correctly.
Yes, I believe so. I haven't heard anything different as of lately.
So that's helping all of our friends in the restaurant business and stuff like that, where even though certain things have been open, it's still not the money's still not coming in like it was before.
The landscape of things will forever be changed by this. So.
Oh, yeah. And we know that. But guys, thank you very much. We appreciate you guys sticking through, especially with the new year. Things are looking up. To be perfectly honest, we may be still stuck in quarantine doing pandemic stuff, but there's some good things happening, and we're making the best of it day to day. So
stay hopeful.
Yeah, stay hopeful. Keep washing those hands, guys. And oh yeah, don't forget, join us or cry.
Coming straight from the mouths of madness, I'm Lowdown.
I'm FU Hunter.
Do you love horror?
We fucking do.
So this is a podcast dedicated to all things in cinematic horror. We're talking movies, television, composers, special effects artists. We're gonna fucking cover it.
So if you love horror,
embrace the madness.
GUIPodcast.com